What if I told you there was an ancient global trade network that connected Ethiopia and India centuries before Europeans even set sail? A lost web of commerce that fueled empires, spread religions and left behind mysteries no one can fully explain. From legendary lost cities to bizarre artifacts that defy logic, this is the hidden story of Ethiopia and India's forgotten trade routes. And trust me, history books barely scratch the surface. When people think of ancient trade, they picture the Silk Road or the Roman spice routes. But few realize that Ethiopia and India shared a powerful connection long before those famous paths took shape. This wasn't just about trading gold and spices, this was a cultural and economic powerhouse that shaped civilizations. Yet, for some reason, history has nearly erased it. Why? What happened? And what secrets still lie buried in the ruins of these forgotten trade hubs? Today, we're diving deep into one of history's most overlooked mysteries. For centuries, Ethiopia and India thrived through trade. Indian merchants sailed the Indian Ocean, connecting with East Africa's bustling ports. Ethiopian traders traveled vast distances dealing in gold, ivory, and rare spices. But then, something happened. The connection faded, ports were abandoned, the world moved on. So what caused this collapse? And could there be clues still hidden in the remnants of these ancient markets and lost cities? Long before the age of exploration, the Indian Ocean was a thriving marketplace. Arab, Persian, Indian, and African sailors mastered monsoon winds to travel across vast distances with ease. But Ethiopia's role in this network is shockingly underappreciated. The Red Sea and Arabian Sea served as Ethiopia's gateway to India. Ancient Aksum, one of the world's great lost civilizations, controlled massive trade networks, exporting goods like frankincense, gold, and even elephants. Sanskrit inscriptions found in Ethiopia hint at Indian traders setting up shop there centuries ago. But why is this barely discussed? Indian traders didn't just come for profit. Some historical records suggest they established long-term communities integrating into Ethiopian society. The presence of Tamil inscriptions in Ethiopia suggests that South Indian merchants had a more significant influence than previously assumed. Some Indian merchant families were known to intermarry with local Ethiopian elites, forming a unique cross-cultural lineage that still lingers in certain regions today. If you could visit just one place to understand Ethiopia's lost trade power, it would be Adulis. This city was the beating heart of Ethiopian commerce. Roman, Greek, and Indian merchants all passed through its harbors. So why is it now a ruin? Ancient texts describe Adulis as a thriving hub where merchants from India and beyond came to buy African goods. Archaeologists have unearthed artifacts from India, pottery, coins, even statues of Hindu deities. Adulis was even mentioned in the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, an ancient Greek maritime guide that described extensive trade between India and Ethiopia. But suddenly, Adulis fell into decline. Wars, climate shifts, and changing trade routes may have played a role, but there's one theory that's even stranger. Did a natural disaster wipe it out? Some accounts suggest a massive earthquake or tsunami could have destroyed vital sections of the port, accelerating its decline. Others point to the Persian invasions and the rising dominance of Islamic trade routes, which may have bypassed Ethiopia in favor of Arabian hubs. You wouldn't expect to find traces of Indian culture in Ethiopia, yet they're everywhere. Ethiopian cuisine features dishes and spices that have clear Indian origins. The Ge'ez script, one of the oldest written languages, may have been influenced by South Asian scripts. Even ancient Ethiopian coins bear markings similar to Indian ones. Some Ethiopian textiles bear striking resemblances to traditional Indian weaving patterns. Religious influences can also be seen, as Hindu and Buddhist iconography appear in Ethiopian archaeological finds. Ayurvedic medicinal practices, which originated in India, may have influenced early Ethiopian herbal medicine and healing traditions. But how deep does this connection go? And could it mean that India and Ethiopia shared more than just trade, perhaps even religious or political ties? Historical records suggest that Indian merchants didn't just visit Ethiopia, they may have lived there permanently. There are ancient tales of Indian communities in Africa, some of which vanished without a trace. Some Ethiopian clans claim Indian ancestry. Indian-built structures have been found in remote regions of Africa. Ethiopian oral traditions tell of Indian sailors who settled in coastal regions and integrated with local populations. Certain Ethiopian words and place names bear uncanny similarities to Tamil and Sanskrit terms. Could there be hidden ruins or forgotten Indian settlements still waiting to be discovered? If Indian merchants settled in Ethiopia, did their descendants leave behind written records that have yet to be uncovered? One of the strangest discoveries in this entire story is an Indian temple inscription found in Ethiopia. It describes a voyage by South Indian merchants who settled in the region. Could this be evidence of a permanent Indian presence in ancient Ethiopia? If so, why isn't this part of mainstream history? And could this mean that Ethiopia and India were more than just trade partners? They were part of a larger civilization that history has simply forgotten? Ethiopia and India shared a connection that ran deeper than trade. They exchanged ideas, goods, and possibly even people. But for some reason this history has been left in the shadows. Wars, changing trade routes, and even colonialism buried the evidence. Yet, the ruins of Adulis, the artifacts in Ethiopian tombs, and the unexplained cultural links all tell a different story, one that deserves to be remembered. If you think history books have left out too many incredible stories like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.